Welcome back, everybody. You're watching Abstract Live. My name is Manfred, and today we've got something special for you guys. We're not going to talk about Instamat this time. We're going to take a look at Polyverse. And Polyverse is a digital asset management solution that we're building not just for game studios and enterprise companies. I believe it's pretty awesome if you're an individual artist and you're looking for a great place to store your data or maybe even process your data. You know, you have some high poly asset you need to quickly bake, you don't have software at hand, you can do that actually on Polyverse, or you need to do a UV unwrap, optimize your mesh. You can do all these sorts of things very easily on Polyverse, and you can build pipelines. One of the issues we have at Abstract is we're building so much great stuff, but we don't have a lot of content, material, educational material on YouTube and other channels. So this is why I'm doing these streams as well. And I think today we're going to talk about Polyverse. There's not much content about it, so I believe it's going to be pretty great for you guys to see it in a little bit more detail. And I don't think this stream is going to cut it. We'll need to do more streams to actually go as deep as it's needed, because similar to Polyverse, similar to Instamat, Polyverse has integrations into tools like Blender, where you could make use of your data, and it has a lot of possibilities. But it's very late here, I have to say. In Germany, it's what is it right now? It's like 7:45 p.m. here in Germany. Only my team is left in the office, and the most hardcore people. I'm pretty tired, I had a long day, but I'll try to do my best for you guys to do a stream that's worth watching, that's interesting, that's fun to watch. So let's get started. I think we're already sharing my screen here. I have to take off these glasses, otherwise I can't see anything. By the way, guys, I think Jeremy's with us today as well. Jeremy, maybe you can quickly say hello.
Hey everyone, how's it going? It's great to be here on another stream and excited to look at Polyverse.
Fantastic, thank you, Jeremy, and hello back to you. All right, guys, so here you can see this is our website for Polyverse. You can go there right now. It's polyverse.cloud, or you can, if you're on the Instamat page or Installot page already, which I hope, you can go to the top left corner here and just pick Polyverse, and it'll take you right here. And as I mentioned, one of the key parts of Polyverse is being able to easily store 3D models, assets in the cloud. And why is this actually important? Isn't there something else that you could use? And I believe no. There's some services where you can store your files, but it's not doing the best job when it comes to automatically handling all parts that you would have to handle to make it viewable on the web. For instance, what happens if you upload a high poly mesh, or what happens if you upload an OBJ file, which file formats are supported. And that's all the kind of thing that we're taking care of for you guys. And it's not just 3D models. You could upload materials, you can upload audio files, you can upload video files, image files, and we're going to make many more assets uploadable to Polyverse. And each asset that you upload to Polyverse has a beautiful representation. As you can see here in this small preview, the materials. Another great feature is you can invite your friends to your library to work together. You have a design review easily available on Polyverse. You can do asset approvals and so much more. So I'll just take you right there, because we cannot spend much more than maybe 30-40 minutes today on this live stream. So you can easily sign up for free. You don't have to get a subscription. You can get subscriptions, you'll be able to store more data, but in private libraries. In public libraries, you can upload as much as you want for free. The only constraint is that everybody, like on YouTube, everybody will be able to see your video that you upload to YouTube. But in private libraries, you can build your own repository of data and only share that with your team. As you guys can hear, I'm a bit tired, and it's a bit more difficult than usual for me to find words so late in the evening. All right, so we have our sidebar here. I'm logged into Polyverse, and what you can see right here is that there's a lot of assets that we pick and upload to the community that you can just use for free, models, materials. And if you hover over these assets, you can see that you get really beautiful previews. That's another thing that I love about Polyverse, is that all these assets, materials, meshes get this beautiful PBR preview to make it very easy to and beautiful to take a look at the assets in your library. And if you want to see something, you can just whatever you want to open, you can just click on it. You get a really fast loaded preview. You can look at your asset in 3D, and it looks really nice. And if you're familiar with the IBLs that we have in Installot or Instamat, you'll be able to have the same environments here in Polyverse, and everything feels really familiar to you. Yeah, so what you can see here is that we have this photogrammetry asset that was uploaded to Polyverse, and right now you can see the SD versions. What we do behind the scenes, similar to, again, YouTube, is that we create those different resolutions of the asset to make sure that it streams fast. And because we're using Instalot, it still looks great. So here's the low quality version, which, to be honest, it looks really, really nice. And if you want to take a look at the topology, we can click here. We can change the render mode to wireframe. And here we can see how the topology for the low quality streaming version looks like. We can look at the mesh with a matte cap or the vertex colors. We can enable a ground plane for the scene by clicking here. You can enable direct sunlight shadows or just the IBL. And if you want to load a different version of this asset, you can, similar to YouTube, you click the cogwheel and you choose the high quality asset, and we'll stream in the asset for you so you can stay on the page. But you already see that the HD version takes a bit longer to load, but here it is. And you can see it looks pretty great. Again, if we enable the wireframe, we can see now it has a way denser topology than the SD version, but even the SD version looked pretty great. And of course, we could take a look at the original.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is really useful if you're trying to view something like this on a phone or on a mobile device. You know, Polyverse is on the web, it's everywhere. So if you want to send a file to someone to quickly view, it's really nice that Polyverse automatically does all the processing for any mesh that you upload, so that no matter what platform you're viewing it on, it's always going to load very quickly. Absolutely.
And also even the fact that you can send a link to somebody to, you know, review your material or review your mesh or your audio file, I think that's pretty great. And it's holistic, so you don't need to have different delivery mechanisms for different file types. What I also love about Polyverse is we make it very easy for you to see your content in AR, augmented reality. So if you have an iPhone, you can scan this QR code right here and you would be able to see the asset standing in your room. And it's pretty awesome. Like if you model something and you texture it with Instamat and then you just upload it to Polyverse and you can see your assets standing in your living room, I absolutely love this. This is a absolutely groundbreaking experience to do this, to see your assets live standing in front of you. I absolutely love it. So try it, upload something and see how it looks when you look at it in AR. It's really something else. And of course you have a page for each of your assets that you upload, and you can write a description on it. You'll get some insight into the asset, how many polys the original had, how many meshes, materials, the dimensions. And you can also comment on your asset. So I could write, we looked at this asset in the abstract live stream, and we can comment and discuss this asset. I can like it, I can rate it, and if I like this asset, I could actually add it to one of my libraries so I can always find it, like a bookmark basically. We can also embed assets. So if I click here, I'll get my embed code and I can put it on my website in the same way that I could embed a YouTube video. It's very easy, very straightforward. But as I mentioned, it's not just meshes. You can easily upload any other file format that Polyverse supports, and you get great previews like those beautiful materials here. For instance, let's see, what do we want to take a look at? This one looks great. So if I click it, we're going to stream in the material and all of the different textures. And one of the benefits of storing a material on Polyverse is that no matter which renderer you're going to use, we're going to make sure that this material is usable without any setup. So you can have your material in Polyverse, you can open Unity, and your material can just be downloaded into Unity, and it would work without any setup. But you can also do the same thing in Maya. And I believe this solves a huge issue in the industry where companies build a lot of material libraries that are specific to a renderer, and then it's very difficult to move them to another system because it's all set up and built for a specific application. But here, if you would use Polyverse, your library can migrate and move with you no matter what tool you're using. This looks absolutely great. And you also have some preview options here for your material, so you can change the displacement in the viewport, so no displacement, a lot of displacement. You can control the UV offset. You can change the scale of your asset, of the material. The exposure, you can choose what kind of a primitive you want to see the material on, and you can also enable the sphere to be rotating to make it a bit nicer to look at. And there's more features you have in the viewport, like adding annotations, and I think I can show you a couple of those in today's live stream. Yeah, another great thing about Polyverse is that it's not just a repository. You can actually, if I would go here to this user and then I can subscribe to the channel, and we even have a notification bell, so you can choose to receive notifications or no notifications. And this means that if the channel or the user would upload a new asset, you would get a notification that a new asset is now available for you to look at, which is pretty great. So if you go to the subscription feed, you can find all of the users that you're subscribed to. So as you guys can see, I subscribe to the Polyverse official channel, and now I have a feed, a stream like on LinkedIn or Facebook of all of the content that was uploaded by the user. And when you upload something, you can also add a message to it. You can like it, you can discuss it, and you can comment on it. So that's pretty great. So there's some other users here. Let's see, did Hattori upload something? Yeah, so for instance, this user I can subscribe to, and I can dive into all of the different assets that were uploaded by this user. And you can see here, this asset, for instance, so this one is a material, but this is actually an Instamat package, which is pretty great. There's some great features you get from uploading your package, your Instamat packages to Polyverse. One, of course, you can, if you use Instamat Studio, you could directly download your own packages to your workspace and then use them. But the other feature is to be able to actually execute the Instamat package, the projects, on Polyverse. I'll show you that later. So the subscription feed is great because you can always stay up to date what your team is doing. Now imagine you work in a bigger game studio and there's so many different artists that are working on the title, but there's only like a few that are really important to your workflow. You could follow those artists, and whenever a new asset has been published, you can then directly download it or review it. You have your own channel where you'll be able to customize the header, you can see your libraries, etc., etc. And then there's this processing section here. I won't talk about this for the moment. I think it makes sense to first take a look at how asset libraries work. So if I go to asset libraries, I don't have any library right now, so to start uploading assets, you would first need to create an asset library. And the asset library would be the repository that holds all of the uploaded assets. So let's create an asset library, and I can call it my abstract stream. And right now the asset library would be public, which means that any asset I upload to this public library all of these assets would be discoverable by all of the Polyverse users, but I can choose to make it private here, and then only I can find those assets that I'm uploading here. Right, and now we are in this abstract stream asset library. As you guys can see, it's very empty here. There's no assets, so we can start uploading assets by clicking the upload asset button. But I could also invite more people to my asset library if I go to manage members, and then I can easily invite other users. I can set up the description of the library or set up specific workflows, custom metadata keys. So it goes pretty deep into the possibilities of your asset library. But let's just start by uploading a couple of meshes. So if I go to select asset type, I can choose one of those different asset types that I could be uploading here. And to begin with, I think it makes sense to upload a 3D model. So let's pick an asset here from our desktop. What do we have here? Maybe the scout car. Can drag it here and we can start uploading this asset. But if I would want to, I can also drag and drop multiple files. We just upload this guy right here. This might actually impact our live stream. I hope it's not consuming too much bandwidth that the live stream actually has some dropped frames, but let's see. All right, so the asset has been uploaded, and as you guys see, we're on the staging page, on the asset page, but we don't see the asset yet. One, because Polyverse decided not to automatically load it. We can load the asset anyways, but right now it's still being processed. So similar to YouTube, when you upload a video, you can't immediately view it because there's processing that has to happen in the background before you can actually take a look at it. And Polyverse is doing exactly the same thing. So it's generating thumbnails, previews, the different streaming versions, and once it's done, we'll see all of the different results on our library page. It actually is already done. So here it automatically generated that beautiful thumbnail that spins as I move my mouse over it, and it's PBR. It understands your material, so it should look exactly as it looks in your rendering engine. And if I click on it again, we'll see that it automatically loaded the HD version, but we have a low quality version available, and I can switch between the HD version and the low quality version like this. And even the low quality version looks pretty good. And if I go back, you can see that it is unpublished right now, which means that if I would have other members in my library, they couldn't see this asset. In order for them to see it, I would first need to publish this asset. You can disable this if you want assets to be automatically published upon uploading. You can just set up your library and the library would automatically publish it once the asset finished processing. So now the asset has been published, and if we go back to our library, you can see the label at the top is gone and the asset is live. I think to change this behavior, we can just go to edit workflows and then automatically approve new assets, and we can also automatically approve new asset versions and hit update. And asset versions are actually pretty great, because now that you have this asset here, it's not the end of it. You could actually go to the edit page, and in here you could upload, if you did some changes to the UVs or you did some changes to the material, you could actually upload a new version of this asset, and you can always go back to a previous version of the asset. You can do A/B tests of the asset and then see them side by side, compare version 5 to version 2, and then choose which one you actually want to use if you feel like the newer version didn't go as well as it should have been. So here I can change the description, rename this to Scout Car. The category could be meshes and then cars. And this is an orange Scout Car mesh. And then we can hit save, go back, and you can see we updated our description. And this is how you would find your asset if you would use an integration of Polyverse into Blender, for instance. You could now log in and have your library available, click on the library, and you would find your Scout Car. All right, let's try to upload some more assets. Going to go to 3D model. Let's upload something that has a bit more polys. I think we have this photogrammetry asset here. So let's drag and drop this guy here. And maybe upload another asset, this guy. So you can upload multiple assets at the same time, and you can just drag and drop as many files as you want onto this surface. And then you can just hit start upload, and Polyverse will upload one by one.
This is a really fantastic flow, and it's really amazing to see just how quickly Polyverse was able to process the geometry and then make it available, not only just in its original form, but also in 3 different levels of detail at the same time, and being able to see that so quickly. It's really a game changer, especially if you're using hardware, lighter hardware, or a workstation that's, a laptop that you're, working remotely or something, and you don't have access to the, heavy hardware at the office. This is a great way to be able to do this type of processing and organization.
Absolutely, and if you use the integrations, it's also great if you create a new project to prototype a game or something. You just open Polyverse and you have so many assets available. You can kickstart the creation of your project and you have way more assets available. All right, guys, as you can see, it just finished uploading these 2 assets, and you can now go, for instance, to the generator. If I click on it here, it takes me directly to the asset page, and the URL is a perma URL, which means it's permanent. You can take it and share it and it will not change. And here's one of our Instamat assets. As you can see, it's this texture generator. And again, we have different streaming resolutions. We can view it in AR, and we could even add annotations to it. But right now it's still processing. Let's see what happens with this photogrammetry asset. It's also still processing, so let's give it a few minutes. Or maybe we want to upload something else whilst these guys are still processing. So let's see what else we can upload here. What do we have in the folder? Yeah, let's upload some audio clip. Our theme song for the stream. Let's go back here. Right, and now we see we have thumbnails already available, like the turntable for the generator is available already. But for the photogrammetry asset, as you see, we only have a static preview for this moment, but in a few seconds, most likely we'll have a beautiful turntable as well. Yeah, so we uploaded an audio file. We can also upload video files, which is also pretty cool that you can do this. And similar for the 2 meshes, you'll have different streaming versions of that video file. So this is already very small. It's just 9 megabytes. I'm not sure if Polyverse will decide to create a low quality variant for this asset, but let's see. We're just going to upload the video. There you go. You have a video player built into Polyverse. You can, similar to YouTube, you could embed this player. You can discuss the video. You can follow it. You can subscribe to the channel. It's pretty awesome. All right, and here is our audio file. And as you can see, even the audio file has a preview. And if you click on it, even the audio file has a player. So I can hit play to play the audio clip. You guys won't hear this most likely. And we have different streaming versions for the audio file as well. So we have the original coming in at 8 megabytes. We have the high quality version coming in at 3 megabytes. And we also have the low quality at just 1.6. So this is pretty great as well, that you get these different streaming quality version for your asset. So if you create something like a game that scales from a mobile platform to a desktop platform, you could use the low quality version for your mobile game and then just later download the high quality version for your desktop game.
So just a quick question there. So how would somebody download a version of the asset from the asset library? Can they pick and choose, which level of quality they get?
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a really good question. With the integrations, when you would use Polyverse and you browse to your library, browse to your asset, and you click on it, you typically get the different versions to download that are available currently. So if I click on it on the download button here, you see I can download the USD file, GLTF, the FBX high version, FBX low version, and you can also download the original. What's also pretty cool is you have the ability to transform, to convert this asset to different formats. So if we click on, for instance, we like the low quality version, but we don't want to download it as FBX, we need it in GLTF or something, we can click on this button and then it would take us directly to a Polytron. And we didn't discuss Polytrons yet, but Polytrons are microservices, like small APIs that do specific processing, from things like voxelization all the way to file encoding or file conversions as we have here. And what you can see is that the Polytron automatically linked the file as an input, and then you can choose the output mesh format. For instance, you could now convert this to a USDC file, and once it's done, download the resulting mesh as a USD file. All right, so here's our library. And we uploaded a couple of meshes to this library. And as you guys see, if you remember this, the first asset I uploaded had this, the Scout car had this unpublished label at the top. And this would require me to manually approve it so my colleagues could see the asset. But these other ones, after we changed the workflow to automatically approve, all of them got approved automatically. And even the video has this preview where you can scrub over the thumbnail and you will see all of the frames in the video. Basically, right edge would be the last frame and left edge would be the first.
That's awesome. I'm just curious, are there various ways to be able to filter and search through these libraries?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you see those badges here next to the library state, like the cube is meshes, the speaker is audio, the movie clip is obviously a movie clip. And if you click on those icons, I clicked on the wrong icon. If you click on those icons, you can disable the display of those objects in the library. So if I enable just the audio, you see just audio clips, or if I click on the mesh, you see the meshes, and if I click on the movie clip, you see the movie clips again. And there's way more filtering options. You can choose to view your library as a list. You can choose to view your library with all of the names of the assets at the bottom and the amount of views they have and when the asset got uploaded. But you can also multi-select. You have most of the operations that you would expect in a library like this. You can choose to change the sorting order or filter by category, by a specific library path. And on the left side, you can also choose, if you would have a lot of assets, I don't have one here, but you would see all of the categories here on the sidebar, and that would allow you to browse your library through the categories, quite similar to how the Instamat library browser works. All right, yeah, so...
Great.
Yeah, so we set up all of these, we uploaded all of these different assets here to our library, and it's pretty easy to understand how that would work from here, but I want to show you guys how that would work if you use an integration. And to show you guys this, I think it makes sense to use RSX engine. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Well, that's a developer build, so I'll just click those error messages away. And we're going to start with a clean project, so I'll just click new project, and we're going to create a demo, maybe a Polyverse demo is the name of this project, and we are going to click confirm. Yeah, so the build of RSX that you guys are seeing has been uploaded a few minutes ago, so there might be a lot of regressions because it's off the master repository branch, so who knows what got merged today. But let's just try our best and hopefully we can see what we want to see here. So what you're seeing right now is actually the tutorial of RSX engine. So when you start a new project, it actually shows you how it works. So right now it's telling you that this is the viewport, and then we can click through and it tells us this is the viewport toolbar and many more things. And I can just hit exit tutorial to stop here. So let me just create maybe a regular plane, and I'll scale that up, move it to 0. And then I'm going to add a light source to my scene here, move it up, and maybe change the color temperature to something more neutral. All right, so a very basic setup here. And to use some of the assets I just uploaded, all I have to do is I'll is clicking on the Polyverse button, and RSX comes with a Polyverse integration built in, but if you would use Blender or Unreal Engine, you could just download our plugin and it would work pretty much the same way. As you guys can see, I see the same assets on the front page that I see on the website, but I can also choose to just go to my own library. For some reason I can't do that here. I'm not sure why that's not possible. That should have been possible. What am I doing wrong? Library should be available here. Maybe because it's private. Is this the same user? Should be the same user. But we're still gonna show you how that would work. So if I go to featured meshes and I wanna download any of these meshes here, for instance, this asset we looked at previously, I can just double tap it or click on the download button, and then I get the asset preview page here, quite similar to how the website looks, and I can choose to download the SD, the HD, or the original. I don't need the original here. I'll just download the SD version, click on the download button, and you can see that we get our file picker here. I'll choose to save it here and just import the asset into our project. And as you can see, it already downloaded it here, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. I'm actually running RSX, not native, the native build. I'm running the web build. And I can use the Polyverse integration on the web build to just bring assets into my project very easily. I mean, I could also import assets into RSX running here in the browser by just dragging them into the browser window, actually. That would work as well, but with Polyverse it's just very easy because I don't need to have them locally. Let's enable light shadows here. Right, so here we have a mesh in the scene. If I want to import another one, I can click on my Polyverse integration again, maybe download this jar. It works pretty much the same way. Download the HD version here, save it in my project, import it. And what's beautiful is that this is all happening asynchronously in the browser. Unlike other engines, we don't block. So everything, as you guys can see, happens here asynchronously. I can keep working while it's importing the mesh. And once it's done, it just appears in my library with a really nice looking preview, and I can drag it and drop it into my scene, just like this. I can also duplicate this guy, rotate it around, and maybe place it like this. And it's not just the materials, meshes that you can import into your projects in RSX or other tools. You can also import all of the materials that you're storing in Polyverse. For instance, if I go to one of the featured materials, we had this really nice looking material here. Let's see if we can find it again. I think it was this one. So actually it was this one down here, Stonewall Blue Gray. So if I want to import this material into my project, I can just choose to click the download button, download the original here, and then save it to my project. And it's going to apply automatic texture compression. It's going to create masks to reduce the amount of textures you have in your project automatically. So let's just import this material here. Yeah. And what's awesome about
question about the materials there.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So for these meshes that we see on Polyverse, the ones that are publicly available, and also the materials, how available are these materials for studios and people to use for their projects?
In general, all the stuff you find in public libraries is free to use as a Polyverse user. I'm not sure if we have all of the license terms up to date and available for you guys, but that's the gist of it. That's the use policy. If it's public, you should be able to use it to build content. At some point, we're going to make it possible to have different types of licensing, but I think the system of if it's public, it's on Polyverse, and you can use it, benefits everybody, right? If I upload something and you upload something, both of us have more assets available. Right, so it's still probably doing the texture compression on our assets here. And I can just tap out and keep working here in Polyverse while RSX is running in the background, which is pretty awesome. Or I could choose to import more assets. And keep in mind what RSX is doing here in the browser is pretty crazy. It's downloading the files from Polyverse, applying texture compression, and then imports it automatically into the engine for us. There's quite a lot of work that the engine is doing that's not so typical for game engines to be so hyper-connected and use web services and download data, use asynchronous tasks, etc. It's getting more popular, but I think most engines are still more offline tools than RSX is. And here's our material. And I could just double tap the asset to take a look at it. And you can see it looks really beautiful, exactly as it looks on Polyverse. And I can control all of my different parameters here, the roughness, the metalness, displacement. I can enable or disable displacement. So it's very easy in RSX to set up a basic material like this. That's our basic material model, where we make it very easy for you to just bring in your textures, assign them to different slots, enable transparency, anisotropy, or subsurface scattering, displacement, and then just use the material. But if you want to build a material using a shader graph, you can do that in RSX as well. No, we don't want to save this, and to use it you can just drag and drop your material and put it on a surface, and there you go, you have your beautiful material in the scene. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks very easy and very straightforward to just start building out a level very quickly.
Absolutely. How many minutes are we in? We shouldn't spend too much time. It's already 8:12 here in Germany, so
exactly half an hour.
Half an hour. Should we do a bit more? What do you think?
Maybe a bit.
Maybe a bit.
Like
yeah, I mean it's super late here already, so maybe a few more words, and then we can do more sessions on Polyverse. Guys, it's really worth checking out Polyverse and adopting it for your workflow. It's a really great solution, and it's free. You can just sign up for it. If you have an Instamat account, you can just sign into Polyverse with the same account that you already have for Instamat. So maybe let's spend a few seconds talking about the processing part with the polytrons in Polyverse. So if we go to the home screen again, we don't just feature meshes and materials here. If you keep scrolling down, you can see that we also feature polytrons. For instance, we're trying to show the stuff that we're building for when it comes to artificial intelligence on our home screen here and feature it on Polyverse. And if you scroll a bit further down, you'll see that you have a lot of processing features on Polyverse as well. For instance, Mesh Optimize. You can use Instalot directly on Polyverse without downloading Instalot, which is great if you're in the need for some really urgent optimization and you don't have Instalot Studio installed. You can just go to Polyverse and then start processing some asset or do baking, as I mentioned it previously. So these polytrons are tiny services, microservices that you can use to do processing, whether it's through the front end here of the website, or if you have an API or you build your own tool, you could easily connect it to Polyverse and then build your tool, your pipeline on top of Polyverse. So if we click on process data, you'll actually be able to browse all of the polytrons we have by category. So if we start here on A, which is AI, you see all of the different AI polytrons that we're building, but you can even find image processing nodes that you might be familiar with from Instamat, like a blend node or an HSL node. And you wouldn't believe this is actually quite uncommon on the web. There's not many services on the internet that if you need an image inverted, for instance, quickly, there's no API you can call to do that for you. So this was another reason why we've built this, because at some point we realized we were building all of these algorithms for Instamat, Instalot, and our other products, but they're always just there. And bringing that on Polyverse would expose it to many more people and potentially many more integrations. Yeah, you can even find our material library here on Polyverse. So if you quickly need a specific material, for instance, if I need a brick wall really urgently, I can just search for the brick wall and I can find a lot of different brick walls here on Polyverse. And if I think that one could be a good basis, sloppy ridge, I can click start processing. And you can actually tweak it in the same way that you could tweak it when you run your material right within Instamat. So there's a lot of different features, from voxelize nodes to baking. There's a lot of things you can do on Polyverse, which I don't think there's any service that would allow you to bake a mesh on the internet. That's pretty crazy. Or even if you work with CAD files, if you have like a step file and you quickly want to convert your step file into a 3D mesh, you can do that easily on Polyverse. For instance, let's just try that. I think I have a CAD file flying around here, like this razor. So I have my JT file, which you couldn't open in like Blender directly because it's a JT file. It's a CAD, a proprietary file format. But if you bring that into Polyverse, you can drop it onto your Polytron, and then let's just convert it to an FBX file and process it. And there we go, our task has been created, and this Polytron is processing our file in the background, and you can keep working and doing other things. Actually, yeah, let's upload one more asset. You guys might remember in the last live stream I showed you guys how to build this pavement material, and I can upload my package, my Instamat package, to Polyverse as well. And by the way, if you use Instamat Studio, you can upload and download directly from Instamat as well, but I can also upload my package here. So let's upload that package. And there you go, it found the project in the package, but it's still processing it. So right now, Polyverse is inspecting the Instamat package, looks at the projects that are inside of the package, and it will also generate previews for that particular package. So let's just keep that processing, and let's see what our task is doing. So our task finished processing in a second, and you don't pay directly with cash money, with US dollars for the things you process on Polyverse. You actually pay with those tokens, and you can see my account has 500 tokens here on Polyverse, and you can actually get free tokens. So to get more tokens, all you have to do is you sign in with your account, and every day you can drag this little slider, and if you drag the slider successfully, you'll get free tokens that you can spend on processing here. But if I want to see what this Polytron actually processed, I can just click on my task, and I'll see all of the different results, like this FBX file, and I can even preview it right here on my Polytron page. I can see what it processed for me here. So that's the racer, looks pretty good. And now I can actually download this file right here by just clicking on it, or I can export the asset to my library. So I'll click this button, I'll choose where I want to save it, I'll use the abstract stream library, and then I'll choose export to library. And now it'll take that task result and store it for me in my library. As you guys can see here, it's now within the abstract stream library. All right, I don't see the preview. I think I have to publish this, right, Jeremy? In order to see the preview of the Instamat package.
Yes, I was just going to suggest, I wasn't sure if that had changed recently, but usually I have to publish it, then I'll start doing the next stage.
Yeah, indeed. So let's publish it. And once it's published, you'll be able to process it, and you'll be able to see the preview for this package as well. Yeah, let's see how long it takes. Let's refresh the page here. There you go, both finished really fast. So there's the material from the previous live stream. I don't know if you guys remember how that looked like. I really liked how it looked like, but I'm biased because I created it. And I can now process this material directly. So I created this offline in the last live stream in Instamat. I upload the package, but now I can run it. It becomes a small service. I can run it on Polyverse directly. So let's, it actually is still generating some previews here. So let's finish it. Let's give it some time. So we have this is the preview for the whole package, right? It still needs to create the preview for the project inside of the package, which is another layer of previews. I think
very cool. So anybody, yeah, you go ahead.
It should generate, just to confirm, it should generate previews, right? For assets. Or do we need to do anything else?
No, I believe that's as far as we have to go there, and Polyverse will take it from there. But I was just saying, it is pretty cool that anybody can make a graph or a material or some kind of workflow inside of Instamat and upload it directly to Polyverse and instantly make this a service not only them that their team can use, but anybody can use to be able to process data and information. It's super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like the material becomes a standalone thing, right? It no longer depends on Instamat or any tool to render it. You don't need to install the Blender integration to get the PNG files. It becomes its own thing, and it can run in Polyverse as a service. Well, exactly. there we go. Now we have a preview. That's great. So, and we can actually render this material that I uploaded to my own library in Polyverse. All I have to do is I'll click Start Processing, and you can see, I don't know if you remember, but if you watch the last live stream, these parameters here, count and crack density, that should sound familiar to you. So let's increase the crack density here and maybe more lost pavement, and then we can choose to render this at a 2K resolution or 1K. Maybe increase it to 2K, 248. And then we can just run this task. All right, and there you go. Here's my task, and it's now initializing and processing our material. Shouldn't take too long, maybe a few more seconds. There we go. It finished in 4 seconds, and if we click on it, you see that we have the AO map, the base color map, the height, the metal, all of those different maps. And as before, we could simply export this to our library, and then it becomes a baked material. So let's export it. But if we go back to our task, we can actually preview the material not just as an asset in the library, but we can preview it right here as well. So there's a lot of smart features that Polyverse offers to give you a better look at the data. So you don't just have to look at the images, which you can, but you can also look at the assembled material, and it recognizes it's a material just based on the outputs. Yeah, so this still looks pretty great. Very nice material.
I don't think people realize just how incredible the value is of being able to preview and view PBR materials at such high quality so quickly. I mean, and especially when it comes to meshes as well. Being able to just quickly look at a mesh and see its high quality textures, or preview a material instantly like this, it's such a game changer, not just for time, but for quality and iteration sake.
Yeah, and if you want to inspect the texture map itself, you can also open our image viewer and then drill into the pixels, which is also pretty great, right? If you want to see how the AO map looks, you can just click on the preview button and we'll stream in the AO map for you. You can take a look at how the AO actually looks, which looks pretty nice here. And there's many more features here, like the ability to build your own Polytron pipelines where you can connect multiple Polytrons together. But I think we should wrap up here for today. Jeremy, what do you think? Is there something else we should mention as this first look at Polyverse?
I think this is an excellent first step at looking at Polyverse. Like most of the solutions that we have, there is so much that we can go into depth and really cool things to show. But I think to keep this stream short, and I think to save some really cool things for later, this is probably a good place to wrap up.
I agree. I mean, we also even did a quick dive into RSX to show how you can bring your meshes and your materials into RSX. And actually the material, I know there's something wrong with the library, right? I don't find my own library, which I'm not sure why. But this would allow us to download the material that we just rendered and immediately process it. And you can even process directly from within RSX. You can find the brick materials, the pavement materials, and actually then directly render those from within RSX on Polyverse, and then later download the results. So there's many more things that we can show you guys, but I think I'm really happy we did this stream, because what we want to build is consistency. It's super late for me. I'm really tired and exhausted at this point, but I'm still really happy that we made this stream happen today, even though it's late. I think consistency is key and discipline is key, and I think we showed both today. So I'm signing off for today, guys. I hope you had a nice stream. I hope you found this interesting, and I'll see you in the next stream. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.